Frank's coming to you again with Foundation of Civilization, and we are watching the changes in the world. This particular video is about the India-Pakistan conflict. Good news this Saturday, at least temporarily. It is May 10th, 2025. And what is the good news? Well, India and Pakistan have agreed to a ceasefire. And let me tell you, that was just in time. I'll explain more later. First, why are we at war, or why are they at war in the first place? Both countries, I've got to take you back to get to some of the history. And actually, for centuries now, before the lines that the current demarcation lines that we have, both areas have very different cultures. They trace back to the Indian subcontinent being primarily Hindu, and Pakistan along the Indus River being primarily Muslim, at least for several hundred years. Now, both countries fell under the British Empire for several hundred years, for a couple hundred years, I guess. They both gained their independence in 1947 when Britain divided India. One area that was remained in dispute was Kashmir. This is a region. It's kind of in between the two, and on the north end of India. The region was a princely state, but its fate was left undecided at the time in 1947. As I mentioned, the two countries differed tremendously in ideology. Pakistan is nearly all Muslim, while India is dominated by Hindus, but has a large Muslim population. This division has led to conflict of cultures for centuries, even before the modern dividing lines. And that's continued into the modern era. When the countries were divided, a lot of people were enthusiastic and celebrated, but quickly gangs formed, dividing between Muslims and Hindus, and they began attacking and killing each other. When the violence was quelled, at least a little bit, over 1 million people had died, and 15 million people had fled their homes. Much of today's conflict focuses around that Kashmir region in the northern area that has a majority Muslim population, but its leadership is primarily Hindu. And how do they get to be? How do we get into the situation we're in? Well, at the time of independence, the leader was a prince who wanted to remain independent. Unfortunately for him, local Muslims, aided by other Muslims from Pakistan, caused an uprising because they weren't happy being part of, with being administered by Hindus, and so they started causing problems for the prince. The prince sought to quell the violence, and he asked for India's help, and India agreed if the prince agreed to align Kashmir with India. Well, this went on for a while, and they're still in dispute as today, but in 1948, the UN agreed to a peace deal. All parties agreed to a peace deal. Part of that deal was that the people of Kashmir would be able to vote to be part of India or Pakistan. The trouble is that vote has never been held. So, kind of a similar situation to Northern Ireland. Over the years, India and Pakistan have fought several wars over the region, one in 1965 and again in 1999. The two countries have also tried to work out deals like the Indus Water Treaty with each other, but unfortunately conflicts continue to erupt. The latest conflict was in 2019. So where are we today? The recent past. On April 22nd, terrorists attacked a tourist site in Kashmir. India, the government of India, vowed to take action. One thing they did was to shut down water going to Pakistan along the Indus River. They have quite a few reservoirs and dams, and they said, well, we're just going to button them up, which will work for a while until the snows melt and rains come. Then India launched missile and drone strikes into Pakistan, into locations that they said were terrorist training camps. They killed a few people, but they had, for that activity, for that incident, they were kind of restrained, and they avoided attacking any Pakistan military sites. But Pakistan responded in kind. Both have been firing artillery shells at each other's countries, and occasionally soldiers are taking pot shots over the border at each other. So far, most of the casualties have been civilians. India says that this is the first stage of an operation they are calling Operation Cinder. India then, then Pakistan responded and attacked India using some of those military bases. India escalated their attacks to include the Pakistani air bases that had attacked the Indian military sites. An air battle occurred, and CNN claimed 125 aircraft were engaged in a dogfight. Unfortunately, CNN is not a very good source for military analysis. Today, the trouble is today's dogfight is so distant it can't be called a true dogfight. You have shots being fired at what's called beyond visual range, BVR, and it is. We don't know how many aircraft were actually fighter aircraft, helicopters, refuelers, early warning aircraft. Who knows exactly, but we do know that some fighter aircraft were involved, and we don't know how close that they were or all the details about that conflict. We do have a few of them though. And we have a lot of claims, too, by the governments. First, India claimed to have shot down 2 Pakistani aircraft, a U.S.-sourced F-16 and a Chinese-sourced JF-17. Neither of these losses have been able to be confirmed. Pakistan claims to have shot down 5 aircraft and a drone. 3 aircraft they say were Rafales, a French-made a fourth-generation fighter from France's Dassault aircraft company. And while the aircraft originally flew in the 80s, it's been upgraded with the latest avionics and radar packages. Pakistan claims to have also shot down a Su-30, a MiG-29, and a large Heron drone. The Indian military denies any of these aircraft were shot down, but there appears to be some debris that shows at least 1 Rafale has been lost. Now, it's possible that the Rafale was struck and a piece fell off of it, but the pictures on X on the internet looks like it's a significant enough piece that it might have been hard for the aircraft to survive that strike. We don't know. It might be some time before we know all the details, because governments like to keep these things covered up and make themselves look good. However, we do have some U.S. defense officials who, of course, under conditions of anonymity, confirm that 2 aircraft were shot down. Now, none of these air victories can be confirmed. Like I said, India claims to shoot down a Pakistani aircraft. Pakistan denies the loss. Pakistan claims to have destroyed Indian aircraft. India denies the loss. Like I said, they're trying to cover themselves. Now, interestingly enough, all of the alleged Pakistani victories were achieved by Chinese-made J-10CEs. This is also a 4th-generation fighter made by China, and its development was advanced when China got the schematics for the F-16s from Israel way back when. Thank you very much, Israel. I'm sure that the intelligence officials all around the world are analyzing all of the data that is available, and now they want to see how well their weapon systems worked or didn't work. Did the missiles reach out as far as they needed to? Did they have to fire several missiles to get a kill, or were they able to get a shoot down with one missile? Both militaries were working to establish themselves and deploy troops to the border. Now, there is also a interesting split here amongst the BRICS nations, because, as I noted, and I should go back and note, I should make this also very, very clear. April 22nd was the reason that this conflict is going on, is because April 22nd, terrorists attacked and killed 22 people in Kashmir. The very same day, the U.S. Vice President was in India negotiating a trade deal. Pakistan is being backed by China. They've had a long history of working with each other. The split has come because India is being backed by Russia, which I find absolutely fascinating. Now, in the beginning I said that we were lucky. And why were we lucky? Well, Pakistan had called a meeting of its National Command Authority, which, if you know U.S. policy, this is a significant deal. This is an overt sign of Pakistan preparing to use nuclear weapons. Both countries have about 170 nuclear weapons, and if they get into a conflict, I think, and it remains conventional, I think India has the advantage. That means that at some point Pakistan is going to get upset, and they may decide to play the trump card, which is the nuclear weapons, and it looks like they were preparing to do this. They also did this back in 2019 when the two nations were fighting, and the U.S. State Department had to step in to defuse the situation. Luckily, today, May 10th, the United States negotiated a ceasefire, and both sides have decided to take a step back and put things on hold. Time will tell if the ceasefire will hold and turn into a peace deal, or if it's going to take more conflict. I hope that it does, and I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that you guys are also paying attention to what's going on in the world, what changes are happening, and more importantly, why. This is Jeff Rains with Foundation of Civilization and Our Changing World, and I hope that you're doing well. Hug your families, show them much love, and look forward to speaking with you guys again in the near future. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.